All right, Larry Krueger here at Levi Stadium with a 49er Wednesday practice day recap. A lot going on down here in Santa Clara today. Aaron Banks has got a shoulder injury, and he was limited in practice today. Banks, obviously banged that shoulder in the last game, and his status for Sunday at this point a little bit unknown. Elijah Mitchell's got a knee injury. He was out, so he did not practice today. Mitchell hurt that knee in practice last Thursday, so he was out today, and his status is unknown for the Browns this week. Also, Dre Greenlaw. Dre Greenlaw did not practice. Greenlaw is in that spot now where he hits so hard and he's so physical that they don't bother with his practice. He basically calls his own shots. If he wants to practice on Wednesday or Thursday, he does. If not, he doesn't. And they usually choose on just freshening him up one of those days, and today was that day. So maybe he'll practice tomorrow, maybe he won't, but he's pretty much a lock to go on Sunday against the Browns. So that's kind of his status going forward. He hits so hard, he's so physical that they try to ease off on him and on some of the practice workload during the week. The 49ers also, of course, get the Browns this week, the number one defense in pro football. Jim Schwartz is the defensive coordinator. That means Myles Garrett up front. That means Denzel Ward on the backside. It also may mean P.J. Walker starting at quarterback for Deshaun Watson instead of DTR. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, the rookie out of UCLA, has started last week, but I expect P.J. Walker to go if Watson can't go against the Niners on Sunday. Today we also saw the practice debut of Randy Gregory. His knee is 100%. He says he's feeling good. I had a chance to talk to him before he went out to practice, and he's excited to be here. He thinks that the wide nine is ideally suited to his style. He's excited to play opposite Nick Bosa. He had a chance to visit with Chris Kocurek yesterday and just kind of go through what's going to be expected of him as far as how many snaps he gets. That's all TBD. But he was out at practice today, and he'll be out there on Sunday, and it's an exciting time for Gregory, who's really thrilled to be in a 49er uniform. George Kittle also got a rest day today, just a veteran's rest day. Trent Williams, he got a rest day today. Another situation where just two great players that are veterans that can kind of call their shots as far as managing their body, as far as practice goes in the regular season. I asked Kyle earlier today about Brock Purdy's elbow. I said, is it still an issue? Is it still being monitored? Is he on any kind of a program? And Kyle, kind of jokingly said, hey man, looks pretty good to me. I said, yeah, I agree. It looks pretty good to me too. So anyway, Brock Purdy, according to Kyle, not having any kind of setbacks as far as how his elbow's coming along. Fred Warner today was named the NFC Defensive Player of the Week. Man, Warner had a game against Dallas. I mean, he had a sack, he had a pick, he had the guy did everything. He had 6 or 7 tackles, a bunch of solo tackles. He was flat out dominant. And right now, if there's one theme to the early season, it's that both Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw are both playing like all-pro players right now. So Warner today awarded the NFC Player of the Week designation. Couple other notes. The 49ers worked out Jason Verrett, the veteran corner who's from Vacaville, a few weeks back. Verrett opted to sign instead with D'Amico Ryans and the Houston Texans. So it gives you a little glimpse that the Niners are still, kind of scouring the waiver wire world for any and all available corners, which probably gives you an indication that, if they could acquire a corner between now and the trade deadline, they probably would be open to doing that. The trade deadline's coming up on October the 31st. Can they get a Patrick Surtain? Can they get a J.C. Horn? I don't know. Those guys are really, really good young players, and it's going to cost an awful lot of draft capital. But they did work out Verrett, so they're obviously interested in adding more bodies at corner. The old coach used to tell me, Krug, the secret to pass coverage is pass coverage. In other words, there is no secret to pass coverage. You got to have dudes. You got to have guys who can play coverage. So, the 49ers, when you run out of corners, you run out. You saw a team this week, Buffalo lost Tre'Davious White. They went and signed Josh Norman. Josh Norman is long in the tooth and far from the player that he was a few years ago, but that's how desperate teams get for solid play on the corner. There's just very limited numbers of guys who can backpedal and mirror an NFL caliber receiver up and down the field. So it's really rare. You're not going to find them on the practice squad. You know, the two spots that I think outside of quarterback, of course, that are just so impossible to fill, offensive tackles and corners. You're just not going to see good ones. That's why you have to devote draft capital and sometimes financial resources to getting good corners, because when they're gone, they're gone. And the same thing with tackle. You're not going to get a good tackle just off the street. You're not going to find one on day 2 or 3 of the draft for the most part. That's why the top tackles all go in the top 20 picks of the NFL draft in round 1, because there's such a premium on the position. So the Niners, I'm sure, would love to find another tackle. They would love to find another corner, but they're not out there. And the question is now, are they willing to make a big trade and a big sizable investment of draft capital in the future to get a Patrick Surtain, to get a J.C. Horn? Maybe DJ Reed could be available of the Jets later this year, later this month, I should say, when the Jets are seeing where they're at. Maybe you could get a guy like DJ Reed, which would be a phenomenal addition. But the Niners may just have to lean on what they have. They have, Samuel Womack on the IR set to return. They have Darrell Luter Jr., the rookie out of South Alabama, who they really like, and he's yet to play. So, they got 2 in-house candidates that are both, trying to work back from injuries. That might be the best that they can do to, support their existing corners that they have right now. And one other note that we should pass along, Jack Coletto, who's a great guy. We had him on the Krug Show before training camp. He was claimed by the Steelers and put on their practice squad. So he goes from the Niners practice squad to the Steelers practice squad, and the Niners lose a guy that they really liked. Coletto's very, very smart. He's a mechanical engineering major. He's really bright. I think they would love to have Coletto potentially in camp next summer if they have to move on from Kyle Juszczyk due to cap reasons. But they just had roster needs in other spots. And, there was a very good likelihood when they waived him that he was going to move on to another team that desperately wanted a fullback, and that team was the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we wish Jack nothing but success and good fortune going forward. He's a great guy. And I think, he's a developmental player as a fullback. He's not a, star player today, but if he could put on 10 to 12 pounds of muscle, if he could really work on kind of repositioning his body weight and get into, really work on becoming stronger, faster, more explosive, I think he could be a very good, useful NFL fullback. And who knows, maybe he'll be back here and he'll find his way back here. But if not, the Steelers got themselves a hell of a player. All right, that's our practice recap. Thanks to Pig in a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week. Pig in a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. And we should also tell you that we are brought to you, the Krug Show is brought to you by Mojo Fantasy. Mojo Fantasy has introduced a whole new way to play fantasy football. This season, it works by entering into contests and building a portfolio of players. The props you pick act like stocks. You can buy or sell stock live all game long. That's it. You make picks, you make moves, you make money. And you can check the link in the description. Make sure you use the promo code KRUG, K-R-U-E-G, and get up to $100 matched on your first deposit. The Krug Show, once again, brought to you by not just Pig in a Pickle, but by Mojo Fantasy. All right, that does it for us from Santa Clara. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks to all you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.